Everybody, so look, I'm gonna do this video and it's gonna be kind of quick. uh, I have not been feeling good since Thursday night. I couldn't even go to work on Friday. I had the flu. I'm feeling a lot better than I was yesterday. So no, I didn't do life after lockup. I don't know honestly when I'm gonna do it because I'm not feeling 100%. So I'm gonna try to do this review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Just be patient with me. um, So, Love and Marriage Huntsville, feeling protected and using protection. Season 6, episode 29. There was a lot going on this episode. So, we get there, dinner time thing. Everybody's coming to Houston, whatever. They look like they was having Sunday dinner at a foil pans. But okay, I mean, why go on vacation if you have to pick up food like that? Don't let me start. All right, anyway. So, Stormy and Courtney are clearly just doing what they have to do for the camera because they brought their whole baby. They waiting for their babysitter. They showed up at that scene, said what they had to say, and kept moving. And somebody was like, "Oh, let Marcel watch the baby." He was like, "Please, he only watches his own kids." I said, and Courtney was in that confessional like, "I showed up. That should be plenty." I told y'all, Courtney ain't feel this reality show. He wants them to ask him to quit filming so he can have said, "I supported my wife, but hey, they just don't want me." That's what it's giving. Martell is giving real abuser tease at this point, okay? And first of all, because wearing that wedding band, you'll see how I feel. Like, I just got the glass. This is just, sorry, this is what it is right now. Martell is giving real abusive tease, and I'm gonna tell you what was bothering me about it. That's why we're these headphones. So I got the mic closed. Um, I think he wanted to piss Mel off, and they were like, "Is that his old wedding band?" And she was like, "I don't know. I haven't looked at it." He was like, "Huh, wishful thinking." That pissed me off, and it's giving that I'm wearing this wedding band to prove you'll never be able to get away from me, like the kind of shit abusive men do and say. All right, so Marceau, surprisingly, was actually useful for a moment in shutting down the conversation about Mel and Martell. He was like, "They're not together. Y'all just need to stop," and I appreciated that. Once in a while, Marceau will do something that actually makes sense. All right, but nevertheless, he has to go back to being Marcel. So this Marcel and Tisha vasectomy and pregnancy test, I'm over it. I'm over it. Marcel, you got your fucking nerve to be upset about this. Mel thought initially when the conversation came up at dinner, because this is great dinner time conversation. Anyway, like everybody needs to be in on it. And he's just presuming that Tisha has told everybody about it. Tisha ain't told nobody but Kimmy. Kimmy didn't want to put the pressure on her to tell you. I know she's sorry she ever listened to that bullshit. And anyway, um, so sorry, it's with the flu. I'm dehydrated, so y'all just bear with me. So she was like the last time she was sick like that, she was pregnant, and Mel just thought she wanted to have another baby. She wasn't even thinking like the other stuff. So they, Mel and Kimmy, pointed out how Tisha has trusted you through all the rumors, all the bullshit we hear his name in, and now it's his turn to trust her. Chris and Nell looking at each other, snickering. They're messy, but I love Fletcher, so it's okay. So they separate. You could tell that Nell and Fletcher have been parents a long time because they can't be that much older than everybody else. But it's something about the way Fletcher was using that blowhorn at the end of the episode, the way he yelled through the house for everybody to come to dinner. You could tell they've been parents with a lot of kids for a long time. Because my mother used to do that to us, and it was five of us. Or my father used to holler like that for us to come down. Like, you could just tell. Some things you could just tell. So they separate at the pool for the women, and then the poker table for the men. Was it me? Or did it seem like Mel was like she already drank something. She had already hit something. Because she came to play no games. Okay, it was clear. Like, she was like on one. She was not here for the bullshit. So Tisha, why'd you bring up Mel looking like Martell with them sunglasses? We done seen half the people in this cast with those same damn sunglasses. They need to start putting them together, and don't hate because Mel is living her best life. And because a lot of you think when women get divorced, even if they have a lot of kids, they're not supposed to have a life afterward. The same way people didn't think Sierra was supposed to have a life. No man was supposed to want her after Future sorry ass. And then she ended up with the best thing you could have asked for in terms of a husband and a family life. Anyway, so when Mel said her biggest regret, does somebody remember asking Mel that? That's what I mean. Like, she came down like she was, excuse me, or what? So her biggest regret was that she had 4 kids by a man that never made her come. I said, ah! Mel was like, I like to be talked nasty too in the bedroom. I said, bitch, me too. It's different. That turns me on. Okay, it's different for everybody. She's absolutely right. So I believe that there are women who are married and who haven't come with their husbands. I do believe that. That's actually very easy for me to believe. Because women do look for other things, like she was saying, in terms of the kind of man they marry, in terms of, is he a provider versus not? Is he a protector versus not? Is he kind to me? All the things. And I think women are often taught to feel guilty for telling men certain things or feeling like they should kind of pass over it. And they fall in love. We fall in love with things outside of sex. So it's not hard for me to believe that. So Kimmy, please stop making excuses for Maurice. Okay? Because when y'all tried to hurry and put Mel shit on the table, Mel was like, see, sex is in the forefront of my mind like it is for Maurice. I said, oh shit. I said, Mel came down a one-woman army. And did y'all catch Mel despite all that other stuff? The way she was recording us. She was getting her social media on and ready. She didn't care. She was like, I ain't here for y'all. Kimmy, stop making excuses for Maurice. It went from talking too much about their sex life to her bringing up now him, how he defended Kiowa in his interview, saying she's the mother of my child, so on and so forth. And Kimmy, the thing is, the way you were talking, she was like, it makes me feel vulnerable and unprotected. Your mind is clear in terms of what he's doing and what is wrong. But your actions and the excuse making is telling me something else is going. Like, you understand what's happening, but you're still sticking with it. I don't know how to feel about that, or I do, but I kind of want to keep my comments to myself on that. Tisha asked Mel if she ever expressed to Martell that she didn't feel protected. And Mel was like, of course I did. Nell, all these people's names sound alike. Nell said it with her, like, she was like, yeah, like, I heard these things. My thing is, meanwhile, Tisha, you watch this show. Don't pull it. Don't. Especially not in this episode. You shouldn't have been trying to throw Mel under the bus. I don't know why you keep doing that, because even though Mel don't really like you, she stands up for you like she did at the table. Like she did when Marcel met her at that coffee shop and said you was going to eventually leave his sorry manipulative ass. So you should give Mel a little bit more leeway. So this show, every time I watch this stuff, makes me rethink marriage. I'm lying. I've never been crazy about marriage. Because I honestly think it's a trap for women. I really do. I've seen too many women flourish without a marriage and then fall down or fall out once married. Or women who get divorced and then flourish in real life, like Mel has. I've seen that happen multiple times. And so something about it says to me, whatever society tells you, whatever that man tells you, whatever you've learned or are being told about marriage, it does something. And so, like, everybody wants companionship. I do. But what I don't want to do is feel trapped by something. And that's my own issues. I'm working on them. But I don't know that it's something that in and of itself, the idea of not wanting to be in a marriage, to me is not something I have to work through, but the idea of, maybe being more open to, consistent sort of things. But we talk about these people, not me. Anyway, so, and I know it's going to be easy for people to paint Mel as the bad one, the bitter woman, now that she's like checking all this stuff with men. The bottom line is she's a realist. Okay? Now that she has come out of that relationship. Okay? And a lot of that stuff that Martell was doing, I think Martell sus anyway, I've already told y'all that. And all the abuse and that kind of thing, now that she has time to look back on that stuff and is starting to heal from it, you can't help but to think about it and then learn from it and then use what you've learned to avoid those pitfalls in the future. Okay, so she put y'all up on game, deal. So these dumbass men sitting around this fucking poker table, I don't know why, they might as well have had, never mind. I was going to say Uno, but Uno is serious. I don't play no games when it comes to Uno, so I can't compare. Fletcher tried to reason with unreasonable ass Marceau. Okay, and then sorry, emotionally abusive, narcissistic Martell helps the bullshit along. Maurice points out that, look, I know Tisha took a pregnancy test, but you have to realize that Tisha wasn't probably even considering probability. She was considering possibility. And oddly enough, excuse me, oddly enough, the way he put that made perfect sense. I was like, yeah. I mean, I didn't believe Tisha was cheating anyway, but just the way he explained that just kind of, I was like, that's exactly what it was. So Martell's cheating, lying ass, having babies on his wife ass is in the confessional, essentially implying that Tisha cheated on him, on Marcel. First of all, it's a bitch move for you to even be that involved, bitch boy. So Fletcher is the only man at that table that anybody needs to take advice from or should be giving advice at the table. And he's always reasonable and he listens and he checks people accordingly. And that's what he was trying to do with Marcel. And then the nerve of this, of this Marcel has the nerve to demand of Tisha to be clear about something that never happened. Marcel, you a whole bitch. Tisha and Marcel get into it in the bedroom. We're over it. Okay, I will say it does seem, at least in this episode, like Tisha is starting to find her voice. Like she's not, I don't know, she's been seeing in the past 2 or 3 episodes like to really be kind of sticking to stuff. And you know what? That's all right. All right, so honestly, Tisha, I can't even believe you could have any kind of argument with a man in neon green short shorts. But nevertheless, that's not my husband. So moving on. Maurice is wandering around the house for a snack the same way like he wandered into Tisha and Marcel's argument when he was on his way to the pool. Like he was just doing all this wandering. I was like, where is Kimmy? Sleep? Like, what is going on? Why? What? And he sees Martell bringing this lady. When I saw Maurice run around the corner and put them jets on so nobody saw him, for some reason I died. I don't know why that was funny to see that grown man act like we didn't see him. So Martell is bringing that bitch into the house. I don't care what anybody says, in the country of Houston, in hopes that Mel would see him with another woman. Because he hasn't hurt her enough. He hasn't done that enough. All right? This reality show is his job. Okay? We know he don't do shit else. We know he was trying to build a house in that garden 8 episodes ago. Or whatever the hell it was. The reason why he can't keep any money in his pocket is because of shit like this. The reason why he can't keep any money in his pocket or find a stable place to live is because you're too busy playing games during work time. Now we can argue, hey, this is good for the show. They didn't show that bitch's face on there. He can't shoot no scenes with her that they were going to show on TV. And you clearly flew that hoe in. Because my thing is, it's only the first night. Where did you meet her? In the woods? It wasn't like y'all went out to no bar or something. Like, give me a break. Like, and then he's wearing that wedding band. Let's not forget that. So, girl, even if a man is walking around with a wedding band, don't you think that looks stupid for you to even be, like, getting snuck in a house where there's a bunch of couples and him and his ex-wife are staying in the house? Don't you think that looks stupid? Whoever you are, you dumb. Okay, so Martell is going to check on Marcel, which means poison his mind and believe stuff about his wife, because that's the way Martell is still telling himself these lies about Mel, so he can excuse his behavior. He's such a bitch. Anyway, and I'm sick, and I don't appreciate Martell making me having to say bitch like this, but he trying me. So, excuse me. I told y'all, I'm tired. So is Martell out of his damn mind? Like, saying that Tisha got a new body, she looking good, she's wearing skimpy clothes, and then said he needs to put, and she working out the house now, he needs to put her back in the house. That's where your wife left you. Your jealous, narcissistic bullshit behavior. And honestly, you were giving, like you sounded like you was crushing on Tisha. Smiling like that. Marcel, see, that's the problem. You so caught up in the bullshit, you can't see that wolf that's standing in your face. You should have whooped his ass for saying some shit like that. Martell couldn't give me any fucking advice. Okay? That son of a bitch couldn't tell me how to feed a goddamn goldfish. That's how I feel about Martell. Anyway. So, KiKi called Nell and said she heard they were on vacation in Houston and she wanted to come. Who'd you hear that from? Stormy? The producers? First of all, I don't want to be nowhere where didn't nobody invite me like that. I'm not talking about we somebody's having like a party at the bar, you walk by, hey, you see people that you know, which never happens here in New York, but nevertheless, I know what it is to go back to Atlanta. You see people, you speaking, and you going about your business. My thing is, I ain't gonna beg nobody to invite me no motherfucking where. So Nell is telling Chris about this conversation, and she said, well, look, and Nell did try to be fair and try to protect Tisha and them. She was like, look, I don't know how Tisha and Marceau are gonna feel about you being here because of the way things went down before. I don't think it's a good idea. And she was like, so what are you gonna do to like fix it? She said, well, I feel bad, I want to apologize. She's telling Fletcher all of this, and Chris said she can't wait to do that until we get back to Alabama. When I tell you he took the fucking words right out of my motherfucking mouth, that's exactly what I was about to say. Like, seriously? Okay. And I'm just not here for it. Then Nell said, well, what am I supposed to do now that she's here? Tell her to get back on the plane? And Chris was like, he said, because he's going to ruin the trip. He said, everybody's having a good time. I was like, I don't know. Tisha and Marceau kind of beefing. So he was like, honestly, I think this is going to make things a lot worse. And she was like, well, you need to support me. And he started laughing like, no, you did this. Then Chris, your messy ass, brings up, while y'all having that disagreement, he goes on a lighter note, only to proceed to make it a heavier note. Said, look, Martell brought in somebody here last night. And she was like, I don't appreciate that. He was like, look, it doesn't have anything to do with Mel. And I'm going to be honest. Fletcher, you lost some serious points with me. Because I was absolutely with Nell. Yes, he should have taken that elsewhere. She was like, this is a house where we know all the people that we brought here for this vacation. So it's not about you just simply banging a chick. This is the first night that y'all had there, and you already had some other chick in here. Why your ex-wife is in here? Now, in theory, we could say, oh, well, it shouldn't matter to Mel. Maybe it shouldn't. But the point is, he's being actively disrespectful. The way he was trying to remind her that either you can't get away from me by having that wedding band on his hand, or trying to antagonize her by wearing that wedding band. This is another act of him trying to control and get a reaction out of her. And it's fucking pathetic. Fuck you, Martell. And why we have to wait this many episodes to get this? How long are they going to be in Houston? Okay? This ain't even no real vacation. This is like a down the road trip. Anyway, that's all I got to say about Love and Marriage Huntsville. Y'all be sure to like the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, this is just a side note. I'm just going to say this because I'm not making a separate video for it. Jonathan Majors. Jonathan, I would say the same thing I did when I did a video on this some months ago. Jonathan, I was disappointed in you, period, when this came up. Because I have never found him attractive at all. And I'm saying this to lead somewhere with this. He's not eye candy to me. But when Jonathan Majors is in something, I watch it. And I'm a Marvel fan and things like that. But I think he's a hell of an actor. And I saw him as somebody that was becoming one of those actors where it almost doesn't matter what they're in, which is a very small portion. But you'll watch it because they're in it. Like, Denzel Washington has played so many incredible people, right? Now, Denzel, we don't see him all over the place. He takes good parts, but whenever you watch him, he becomes the character. You forget it's Denzel. You forget, it's whoever, Viola Davis is one of those people. Jonathan Majors, I really saw him become, and that's why I think I'm so disappointed, because I would hate to have to cancel him. The video. Okay, and please, God, I don't know why that video tickled me, because clearly there was some scuffling, something had happened. But when I saw them running, something about Jonathan Majors running, and her running behind him and almost getting hit by that car, that shit looked fucking bizarre to me. It just looked so bizarre that I just started laughing, but I didn't. And then I felt bad because I was like, this is probably like a serious situation, but it was just so bizarre. Then at the end of the video, you see him walk past her while she's telling these other white people about what just happened. And it was wild. It was wild. Like, now he looking like somebody who can't leave a movie set up here. Now, people are saying that, look, it's clear she hit him, she chased him, she's the aggressor. I don't know what happened. There are a lot of things that the bottom line is something in the milk isn't clean. And I say that because Jonathan Majors has pulled so many stunts and shows. It feels like a year, but I think it's only been like a few months since he was accused of this. The breaking up the fight, his lawyer releasing those text messages immediately, him going around with Megan Good, having a black woman on his side to, I guess dog whistle to the rest of us that this is a plan by the man. Jonathan Majors making those big moves and getting in movies like Marvel don't happen for just anybody, period. And certainly not any black person. So I saw your career really going up, and I was rooting for you. I didn't give a damn about who he was dating. I really didn't. Like I told you, I never found him attractive at all. But I think I appreciate people who are good at what the fuck they do and really work to be great at it. There's a reason why I love Beyonce. Besides the fact that I grew up on her, she's the soundtrack to my life. There's a reason why I can appreciate and love Michael Jackson. I love people who work hard at a craft. There's a reason why I admire the scholars that I read. The Nikki Giovanni's. All of these people, the Robin Kellys, the John Hope Franklins, all these people that have worked to be great at something. But I think all the extra effort he has made in trying to make sure his public image stays a certain way, which has actually made it worse, has made me feel like he's hiding something. And this is just a side note. And I know people are like, well, she looked like she was the aggressor. Why would she run after him? Yeah, I have questions too. And I may be the only person that made this connection. And some of y'all may disagree, and that's fine. But I remember that episode of A Different World when Freddie didn't know at the time that it was Gina getting beat up by her boyfriend. That episode of domestic violence on A Different World. And Freddie describes it to everybody. And she was like, I saw this guy just kind of basically savagely beating this woman. And then when he got done, she was like, the sick part is that I saw her chasing after him to come back. And that all came rushing back to me because I have watched that episode so many times. And I had a couple of friends who in college were in those situations. One, I didn't know about it until after she told me later. But I know that shit gets bad. But I was noticing stuff about her. Even though we were friends, she wasn't telling me everything and her kind of disappearance. Like, there were a lot of little things. And so for some reason, I can't just accept that it's as simple as that. And I'm not going to get carried away and defend a black man just because he's a black man. Because if he was here for his community like that, and that tape where he's talking to her about being Michelle Obama, Coretta Scott King, do you know who these people are, and talking down to her? First of all, that in and of itself pissed me the fuck off. It was that condescending, abusive shit. I don't know who was recording who, and it doesn't matter to me. Because I do think people do those kind of things. Sometimes women do those kind of things to protect themselves so they have some kind of proof. Because God knows you have to have a black eye, a busted lip, and then somebody has to, be able to prove it was him before anybody gets anything when it comes to domestic violence. I'm not saying that the dynamics aren't different when there is a black man and a white woman. We already know. And I think that's why people also get defensive immediately. Nevertheless, I'm not gonna do that. And if it comes back that he's not, and I feel satisfied with why, then I can move on. But Jonathan, I'm disappointed because I don't feel like this should have ever happened. But one thing I do know is that men who are physically abusive, people who are child molesters, people who are rapists, are often repeat offenders unofficially before they're repeat offenders officially. And it's usually because their victims are people that don't feel safe or protected or the right to come out. Be they abused and embarrassed and feel threatened, or children who don't feel like they have a voice, or women who don't feel like they have a voice. So those are just my thoughts. All of this y'all can let me know in the comments. But I hope y'all have a great night. I hope I'm feeling better tomorrow. If y'all don't get a video for Potomac, you know why. Um, but anyway, thank y'all so much for all your support. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.